Thank you, Carissa. Where do you get the cool mic? I got to bend down on this thing. Give me the cool mic. Does it work? Is it going to work? Okay. Now I feel young. I see your father out there. Pastor Braxton, raise your hand. That's a proud papa right there. So we are making history, and my job right now as we make history together as a community is to keep the program flowing. I'll say some closing remarks, but we have some people much smarter and better looking than me that are part of this program. I want to recognize all the council members that are here right now. Would you just raise your hand and I could see you? Councilmember Bob Kettle, Councilmember Joy Hollingsworth, Councilmember Bob Saka, Councilmember Tammy Morales. Who did I miss? Councilmember Dan Strauss. See, I know them by name. Councilmember Tanya Wu, thank you for being here. This is truly awesome. A few of them will be sharing some remarks. And if you are a department head, just raise your hand. I'm not going to say it, just I want you to know we got the who's who in our cabinet here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. So first we're going to have, we are blessed to have Blaze and Channing Gestarb say the anthem. I met them. They are so beautiful. They are twins. They are 10. Their birthday is August 8th. And they are going to bless us with the anthem. And they said, we're going to have fun with this, right? This is like family. Okay, so we're going to go. How are we doing this? Or are we going to give them some mics? Come on up. Oh, everyone stand, please. See the stand for you. You young men can come over here and follow me.
Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Tracing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path we pray. Let us our feet straight from the places, our God, where we meet thee. Lest our hearts drunk with the wine of the world we forgot thee. Tread beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Okay, thank you, Blaze and Channing. You have good futures in front of you, bright futures in front of you. So I'm just going to say a few remarks. I do want to recognize the person who strengthens me, the person who guides me and gives me wisdom during very troubled times, the person I lean on for strength. My wife, Joanne Harrell, right here. You know, I met Joanne when I was 18 at Seattle University. She would say I was conceited and cocky. I'd say I was confident when I talked to her. But what a journey as young folks to now see Bertha Knight Landis Hall filled with this community, this beautiful, brilliant, resilient, powerful community getting ready to raise the black flag here at City Hall. We would never dream that this would be the case. We come from different communities, different churches, different high schools, different upbringings, different states, most of us from down south. My family's from Louisiana. And when I say different schools, different educations, what I really mean by that is many of you were not blessed to go to Garfield. It's really what I meant. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But we are creatures of faith, and we are affiliative because we know that the road in front of us, as sang by the anthem, is a tough road, but we are resilient. And what I said earlier in a meeting we had when we were talking about doing some creative things to look at the Black Lives Memorial, I said, quite candidly, in this city, we have more African Americans in critical positions of power. I'm looking at you right now.
Come on.
Critical positions of power right now, and this is the moment to use that power and influence. That's based on our faith. And I'm looking, and you know, if I start naming names, this is going to be a long, but I'm looking at this resilient community. Many have been fighting for decades for a day like this. So having said that, a result of all of your work, all of your tutelage, all of your love and commitment, the best of the best, they're going to speak to you right now, and I couldn't be more proud to introduce our council member from District 3, Joy Hollingsworth.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna enjoy those claps right now. I know this is the honeymoon phase, so I'll enjoy them right now. And I know we got a lot of work to do on council. Thank you, Mayor Harrell, First Lady, Mrs. Harrell. Thank you all for being here. You know, when I think about Black History Month, my mother always taught me, and my grandmother always taught me about knowing your history reveals your potential greatness. And growing up in the Central District, I had the opportunity to grow up around a lot of civil rights legends, literally at the knees of civil rights legends. And I would sit around the dinner table and hear them talk about the history in our city, hear them talk about their resilience. And when I remember sitting around the table, it was doctors, it was lawyers, it was community leaders, it was government officials. These were people that were the movers and shakers in our community who were talking about historical things that were going on in our city. And in District 3, I love facts. And when I talk to kids all the time, they talk about, we want to learn more history. We want to know more about our Black history. Well, if you go to the Douglas Truth Library, we have the largest collection of African American literature on the West Coast. And I continue to remind them that you can go at any point in time and get a book. I have a library card. You can go get a book and learn about our history and learn about the greatness. And that's imperative. And I know that this year we're celebrating arts and culture in our city and community. And I would be remiss, my mother is watching, and I'm gonna tell this, it'll be quick, I'll tell this quick story. I went to TOPS at Seward, and I remember we were given a class project in 3rd grade, and they said, hey, you're gonna go ahead and learn about your history and your roots and your family tree. And I remember going back to my mom and I said, Mom, I went to class and everybody brought the flag of where they were from, their family. They could trace their roots all the way back to Europe, or maybe it was Asia, wherever it was. And I said, how come we can't do that? And she said, it's a long story. I go, but Mom, how come? And then she sat me down and she made me watch Roots at 3rd grade and learned about our history and our people and our struggle. And then she started the Underground Railroad in Seattle. And that was a cultural movement where we were able to we started at Garfield Community Center, And it was a place where people went on this journey where they learned about the history, they learned about different iconic figures in America. And one year she brought Rosa Parks here to Seattle, and I got to meet her. And that was an amazing moment for our city, and it was called Seattle Underground Railroad, and that was a big arts and culture movement. I brought the sweatshirt here today from 1993, Seattle's original Underground Railroad. And so I just wanted to give her a shout out because that helped me understand my greatness by understanding my history. So thank you all, thank you, Mayor, and looking forward to raising the flag today.
Thank you, Councilmember. So it occurred to me throughout the afternoon as before we raise the flag that some of y'all do need Jesus. And over here we have Reverend Manaway, Reverend Braxton, Bishop Witherspoon, Reverend Paris Lee Smith, newly introduced to Seattle. So if you need Jesus, go to this table over here, okay? That's how we did that, okay? That's how we did that over there. Okay, our next speaker is going to be Councilmember Rob Saka from District 1. Rob Saka! Gurmai, don't go anywhere because I'm going to recognize you. Don't hide out over there, Gurmai, Councilmember. We do the city people first over here. This is our house. This is our house.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, everyone, for being here today. Also, special shout out to King County Councilmember Gurmai Zahalai for being here. We recognize a few of the electeds, but I know the mayor's going to do his own thing, but I want to acknowledge, the leadership of my colleague at the King County Council as well. Look, I am the proud son of a Nigerian immigrant who ended up raising me as a single parent. And I just want to take a quick moment to pause, reflect, and celebrate. My dad came to this country with nothing. It's from one of the poorest villages and like neighborhoods in all of Lagos. And today, I have the honor of appearing alongside the Seattle mayor, many of my council member colleagues, and you all, community, to help raise this flag. And it's a small moment for me and my ancestors and many of our shared ancestors. For clarity, I represent, in many material respects, their wildest dreams coming true. And so does Councilmember Hollingsworth. And so does Mayor Harrell. But I am honored to be here today on this momentous occasion. But it's a small moment that is not lost upon me personally. I know it's not lost upon my family. And I hope it's not lost upon our community. So I'm the proud son of an immigrant, African descent, and getting to raise the flag as someone who is of African descent and as someone who also served this country in uniform, getting to raise the flag, African-American flag, next to the American flag, that is another moment that is really important to me personally. I try to acknowledge and understand history. Let us do that, lest we're doomed to repeat failures of history. And so, I personally acknowledge and recognize that I'm standing on the shoulder of giants, people like Councilmember Sam Smith, people like Seattle Mayor Norm Rice, yes, people like Mayor Bruce Harrell. And I was reminded of some research and some history as part of this whole process. Amelia Boynton, on Bloody Sunday, during the Bloody Sunday March in 1965 from Selma to Montgomery, she said, "You can never know where you're going unless you know where you've been." I love that quote. One artistic depiction of this, are you all familiar with the Sankofa bird? Sankofa bird. It's a mythical West African bird. The idea is it's always flying forward, always maintaining that forward progress, but it's got its head cocked back. Why? Because you need to understand where you came from in order to know where you're going. Something that's really important to me. If you come visit my office on the second floor, you'll see not one, but two artistic depictions of the Sankofa bird. In presenting the proclamation, I said from the dais last week that Black history is American history. It is. It's something for all of us to honor, celebrate, and reflect upon. Every last one of us, regardless of our background. And Black culture and stories and triumphs and respecting them and embracing them and our many differences, but most importantly, our many similarities. And in the spirit of the Mayor Harrell's One Seattle approach, which I love, but we all have this opportunity to do all these things and more together. So let us go raise this flag and celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Robert Saka. I mean, he's got some preacher in him over there, preacher. Thank you, Councilmember Saka, in all seriousness, for those heartfelt words. Our last speaker before we raise the flag is someone I'm going to introduce in a minute, but I want to say, Councilmember Zala, I'm glad Councilmember Saka gave you your props. We had dinner a few weeks ago with his lovely wife, Joyce, with my wife and I had a new appreciation for your leadership and your heart. So I'm very pleased that you're over here. Thank you very much. You know, at the end of the day, it's about relationships. Some kids asked me the other day, they said, well, you seem to do well in what you do. Why is that? And my wife taught me a long time ago, she said, relationship capital. Relationship capital. You don't just, you use it wisely. You add it, you stockpile it. Like these two young men here, they're gonna have many, many friends, and it's gonna spread out to put them in positions of influence, relationship capital. And I say that to say that we got to build it, we got to keep it. If I don't know you, if my administration doesn't know you, then we failed. We have to reach out. This next speaker, Darrell Powell, is here in the capacity of the president of the NAACP. The NAACP was founded in 1909, February 12th, if I'm not mistaken, the day yesterday. And it's very appropriate, the largest and most widely recognized civil rights organization is here to celebrate this with us. Many of you know Darrell Powell recently undertook the interim CEO position for the King County Regional Homelessness Authority here. King County Regional Homelessness Authority starts tomorrow. And it was written in the paper, they said, well, Mayor Harrell and Darrell Powell, they played football together in high school at Garfield, and that's how they know each other. And we looked at that and said, that's true. He was a quarterback. Couldn't throw worth a damn, but he was the quarterback. He was a running quarterback. Man, could he throw the ball once in a while? I was on the other side of the defense. But our brotherhood and our friendship has certainly went beyond that. And the article didn't mention the fact that he's a Harvard MBA. The article didn't mention the fact that he's a licensed CPA. What did it say? He's a football player. And those kinds of what I call microaggressions or slights, perhaps they're not even intended. Perhaps they're not even intended. That's why when the medium is here and Converge Media here, I always try to say to folks, we have to tell our own stories. We have to promote those from within, because if we're not, we can't walk around angry. We just have to tell our own stories. And with that, I'm very proud to introduce our last speaker, my friend and brother, Darrell Powell.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Mayor Harrell. In the spirit of our history, the few things that he just said, he always steals my lines, and so there's a few things I'm going to say that he just repeated. And then, in the spirit of paying homage to the clergy here, I know what it feels like now. There's a lot of non-dues paying members of the NAACP that I'm looking at. And so I'm hoping to collect like you collect on tithes. I'm hoping we can collect. But on all seriousness, I'm here today, and this is a historic event. But I do want to thank the mayor for allowing us to put this thing together, because this is historic. I want to acknowledge the elected officials. More importantly, I want to acknowledge the community, because without the community, none of this happens. So I want to, and like Bruce said, just yesterday was Founders Day for the NAACP. We're celebrating 115 years of agitating, fighting, standing in the gap for the African American community, because racial discrimination still exists. Violence perpetrated on the black community still exists. And so we still stand in the gap for that. It's not lost on me that the founding members were people like W.E.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, and others. But like the NAACP and like politics are local. And so while we have a national NAACP, the effectiveness of it is what happens locally. And we happen to have a long-term former president of the NAACP that serves with Mayor Harrell and Gerald Hankerson. So I'd like to acknowledge him somewhere. Like history, and they wanted me to speak here, and I was like, so, in truth, what does the flag represent? I didn't really know. And so in doing a little bit of research, I come to understand that it was Marcus Garvey was the origin of the flag, and it was about celebrating unity across the African diaspora. The African American community accepted that and continued to move the flag. And the flag is a symbol, and it's symbol of the red, black, and green. It symbols, the red does represent the blood that our forefathers shed for our liberation. The black does represent our black ancestry, and the green speaks to our abundance and resilience. And so while those are symbols, symbols matter. It helps shape your identity. I can remember growing up, and my national anthem was, "Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud." It was James Brown, but it was a way to give us a sense of identity. And it's out of that identity that I find myself that those who are given much, you serve. And so that's why I find myself as president of the NAACP. But I will say symbolism matters. But we as NAACP, we want to move beyond symbolism. And so while this is a historic day to raise the flag and it's symbolic, we look forward to this being a precursor to continuing to engage the city, the county, and the larger community to fight for justice for the African American community and the BIPOC community. Thank you.
Okay, we're about to do some flag raising. I'm going to just say a few very, very wise words. No, I'm not going to, there's nothing wise that comes out of my mouth half the time. I'm going to say a few closing words, and then Sister Carissa Braxton is going to give us some instructions, some marching orders. Then after, we're going to break some bread over here. So here's my wise words. The council members that are here, I know this evening many of you, I think 5 or 6 of you, are going to do a forum at Seattle University tonight, if I'm not mistaken, to reintroduce yourselves to the city. Tell them what you see. What you see is a strong, vibrant black community. And if I say we're outnumbered, we're never outworked. Let me repeat that. If we are outnumbered, we're never outworked. And what we can show to all underrepresented groups, all different demographics, is that, again, through faith, through a commitment to one another, through pure old-fashioned courage, we can accomplish great things. We are living in a city that's one of the most influential cities in this country. All eyes are on Seattle. We're one of the rapidly growing cities here. We're a port trade city, maritime city, and we're a high-tech and biotech and a university city, and we were that close to winning a national championship for our college. That close. But we're a phenomenal city. And, a little old biracial boy in a CD wasn't predicted to run this city. But through the forces that be, I was elected. And my election would mean nothing if I didn't have a community to stand with me. And I always say, give us grace. We work really, really hard, all of us. We made some mistakes sometimes. We're just human. What you see today is, and again, I'm looking at people who have literally spent a lifetime trying to do good. A lifetime. That's what we have here today. And with that, thank you for coming to City Hall. Thanks for being with us as we raise this flag. I don't know if it's ever been done before. I think we're making history here. This is the first time. And we are blessed that you were here to help us make history. And with that, Chris Braxton's going to give some marching orders, and then we're going to raise it, and then we're going to break some bread. All right. And here we go, the cranking of the flag. Which way do we go? This way?
Counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise. See, counterclockwise is against, so we're going to go this way. Yeah, do one nice crank. You ready? 1, 2, 3. There's one. Wait a minute. Wait. Oh, I said counterclockwise. This way. I told you to go the wrong way. Okay, there you go. Oh, perfect. Get one more. All right, you're up. Good man. One more. All right, Councilmember, you're up.
I was watching him. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna do 3.
All right.
Okay, 2.
Okay. That's good.
That way, right?
There you go.
All right.
There you go. All right. There you go.
He's gonna go arch that shoulder.
Perfect. Thank you, Reverend Braxton. All right. Come on, Reverend Braxton. Go ahead. Don't break it. All right, we're going to head back up here. Good job.
Yeah.